Okay, welcome to the latest in our series of interviews with some of the key providers for the Drinks Trust's new wellness services initiative. And today, very pleased to welcome Dr Julien Nesbitt, or Dr Julien, as the service is actually called. So welcome, Julien.
Hey, thank you very much for having me.
Yeah, nice to have you on board. So we're going to be talking all about the talking therapy module, which is one of the services that's being offered. Before we sort of crack into that, could you just sort of give us a bit of background to yourself and how the whole Dr Julien website and initiative came together?
Sure. So I was working as an A&E doctor, and now I'm working as a GP. And I saw sort of a big need in the sense that mental health care is a big problem in this country and even across the world, as we know. And many people aren't getting access to services quite fast enough. So I thought there's got to be a better way of trying to improve the access to these services and not be on these massively long waiting lists. And looking at the evidence, there was good evidence out there showing that doing it on video, audio, and even instant message appointments can be equally, if not more effective. So I thought, let's create a platform that we can connect people more easily to therapy and do it online, and give people the choice of a therapist that they want to see when they want to see them, and have it from the comfort of their own home. So that's what we've sort of created is a platform that gives that choice and means that you can onboard therapists even across the world, therefore giving times available 24/7 for therapy, because you can all put it on a much more efficient platform, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So, and how have you managed to develop this over the time? I guess you've had to have a network of therapists to work with and consultants to be able to offer the advice.
Absolutely, yeah. So, obviously, being a doctor myself, I'm all about evidence and research and governance. So, we only put on their therapists after a very thorough vetting process. So they have to be accredited with various organisations. We interview them. We do lots of thorough vetting of all their qualifications. And I guess you have to start sort of small, and we started them when we built it into the NHS. We worked with the NHS to try and, that's where my passion lied, to try and improve the access there. And we proved really good outcomes in our initial trials with them. So we improved the recovery rate from the average of 48% or so. Our recovery rate's over 73%. The dropout rate for us is less than half than what the NHS's is. And the DNA rate, the did not attend rate, so people actually not attending those appointments that they book, we've also is less than 5% with us and over 10% with the NHS. So you have to build the technology, and then you have to start building up the network of therapists and having the consumer, the customer to provide that for. But the idea is that we can do it much more efficiently, so we can save the NHS money and various other people money by doing it in a more efficient way, and therefore the therapists can get paid and work from home as well. So yeah, we've built up a large network of therapists now that sort of apply to join us. Okay,
and you've obviously found that the average consumer, or consumer is not the right word, but the average person who is looking for help, this way of doing it in a kind of I don't know, slightly less formal way, I suppose, is it? Would you describe doing it through?
Yeah, absolutely, and it's not for everyone, but however, when people think that they have to be in the room with someone, obviously we've seen what's happened with COVID and everyone doing things online. But actually, interestingly, we've had feedback such as, oh my God, I didn't have to get on the tube or whatever with my mascara running afterwards. I didn't have to sit in a funny waiting room that I didn't know where I was going. I didn't have to travel how many hours to the appointment. I was able to sit on my sofa with my cup of tea and my favorite mug and my dog on my lap. You could just really open up a lot more. And that way, if you're in a comfortable environment, what we find is people are able to open up more. And I think sometimes by offering it on text as well, some people that don't want to be seen or heard can actually engage in the service, whereas they wouldn't have engaged because they'd be too afraid. And then as we build that up, some people then can turn on their camera if they want or whatever. And that's part of the online therapy is trying, is getting people over that and putting it in a much more, making them comfortable to have it as such and making it more accessible.
And I suppose over the last 2 months, I guess this has really kind of proven your concept even more, I suppose, because we haven't had the opportunity to go and have face-to-face meetings. So have you noticed a big increase in demand over the last couple of months?
Yeah, so we had some quite big NHS contracts anyway that we've been upscaling, and obviously it's sort of come to a head now where this was sort of, oh, this is something that's nice to have, but actually what we're trying to, from our results that we've proven is actually this can be a better way of doing things. And we're not trying to replace the face-to-face service, because some people still want that. And I think it's about patient choice. But I think for the vast majority of people, what we've found is this actually is a really viable option. I mean, as a doctor myself, sometimes, I mean, I've been doing everything on the phone and video as a GP, but I think even then, sometimes I need to examine the patient. But with mental health, because it's all talking, you know, there isn't an examination element, which makes it even more suitable for an online service as such.
Okay. So just to talk us through the practicalities of it then, if you want to sign up to one of the services the Drinks Trust is offering,
yes,
what would you do? What's the
so you get access to our network of therapists, and we're constantly building that up. So we've got over 100 therapists at the moment, and that is constantly increasing. The way it would work is you will contact the Drinks Trust and say, I'd like to have some therapy, and the Drinks Trust will then add you to the portal. You then get an automated email with a link of how to log in. You click that link. You then create a password. You can resend the link if you want. If you've got your password, you can get it to resend. And once you've created your password, you then log in with the email address as your username and the password that you've created. Then you get your dashboard. You can undertake assessments on that dashboard to measure if you have a problem. So we have various assessments on there, such as depression, anxiety, post-traumatic stress, phobias, and various others that can measure outcomes. And that's how we measure recovery in the NHS. So you start with a high score and you go down to a lower score, and that's sort of as you would do it in the NHS. So you can take those assessments to find out if you have a problem. And you just go in and book with the therapist. So you're allocated a set number of appointments, and you click book now, and you just go through, and you can filter the list of therapists that we have by the various issues that we have. So we pretty much cover every issue that you could have in a mental health issue. If you've got a particular issue, then you can click that issue, and it will filter the list of therapists by people that can deal with that problem. Look, you can do the same with languages as well, and therapy type if you want to. If you don't know what your problem is, you can book with any of our therapists, and they're all trained to do assessments, so they can also help you and then guide you to, if they're not the right therapist after the assessment, they can guide you to the right therapist. So essentially, you log in and you find your therapist. You can look in their calendar and book into their calendar. You've booked a slot. At the time of your appointment, you either log into our app if you're on a phone, or you're on a laptop through our website, and then the video link starts. And you can have your appointment, or the text link, or whichever you are. You do your appointment from that, if that makes sense.
Right. So it clearly fits in well with people's life patterns. I mean, I know at the moment we're all in one place most of the time, but I suppose when you start working again, it allows people to access instant in the evenings, Absolutely. In the weekends.
Yeah, so even the majority of the appointments are. So we have quite a few therapists that also work within the NHS, maybe during the day, but this way they can put up extra appointments in the evening. So that way we've got a lot of availability sort of out of hours. So you can work around you. We do have some of it availability in hours as well, but yeah, it's designed to work around you. So you can filter the list by time and date as well to find the therapists available at a particular time and date if you want to just have a therapy session as such.
Okay. And I know people are, sometimes worried about their own personal protection with their data and that kind of information. Can you just give some thoughts on that?
Yeah, so I say we work with the NHS, so you can't get really more secure than what we do, and the compliance governance standards that we adhere to. We do have to keep a certain amount of data if you have appointments, because it's classed as medical data, but it's under a secure system. We've got an incredibly secure system that we use. You can look up the various regulations we have to adhere to for the NHS. But yes, there are lots of regulations you have to adhere to store medical data, and we adhere to all of them for that.
Right. Okay. And anything, you've been very, very thorough. Anything else you'd like to add?
No, I mean, it would be a really great opportunity to be able to work with the Drinks Trust and help anyone that might need help and therapy. And this is the whole purpose of this, to try and, get this out there for as many people to have easier access to mental health. And I think COVID is also going to relate, the aftermath of COVID we're going to end up with a sort of epidemic of mental health, I think. People haven't been going to their doctor or seeing therapists at the moment because they've been getting on with things, but there's going to be a lot of problem, I think, afterwards. So it's great that you can offer this, we can work together to offer this service out to people.
Well, thank you. Thank you for sharing all your services with the drinks industry. It's very much appreciated.
No, of course.
Thank you. Cheers.
Thank you.